The only reason I know Hagane exists is because this person told me in a comment on one of my other videos. And I consider myself a curious individual, so here I am. I know 3 things about this band. First, they are an all-female Japanese metal band, at least according to my Google search. Second, the video I'm about to watch has more views than I will ever have on all of my videos across my whole lifetime. And third, the drummer is an absolute fiend. I swear, she expends more energy in 5 minutes than I generate over the course of a year. So yeah, I'm pretty much going in blind. Let's find out what Hagane is all about. Alright. Just a voice. Yeah, now? Visuals. Is it done, is it? Look at this. Wow. Guitar, ¿no? Alright, quick initial thoughts. They need to put the drummer somewhere you can see her. The stage for the music video and the colors, especially when they change them, they're really pretty. And I like the outfits. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Like maybe it's some Japanese thing that people who know Japanese culture would understand immediately. I have no idea what it is, but it looks good. One thing I was curious how they would do is the guitars, because they have only one guitar. So I was wondering what they would do, and I think during the solo that she did, there was a track of another guitar in there, which absolutely makes sense. There's a reason most bands have two guitars. It's just a bit, it can put you in a tough spot if during a live performance there's some technical difficulty and then you can't use your tracks. But what can you do? If it happens, it happens, and you just play your bit and that's that. Now, I'm not sure who wrote the drums, but whoever it is, I think they like the double pedal on the kick drum. I heard it quite a bit. And that's actually another thing that I noticed. The song felt like it had a rhythm that it was following. So some bits felt kind of fast, but other bits felt slow, which is normal for most songs, but most songs don't give me the feeling that I got here. It was kind of jarring, and I'm not sure how to explain it. Not bad necessarily, but it felt odd. Now I'll go check the song a bit more in depth and report back to you in a second. Here I usually do my best impression of breaking down the lyrics so I can get a more holistic understanding of the song. And I also break down what I notice about the music structure of the song, again as a non-professional who does that for fun. My lyrical interpretations are always just that, an interpretation. A story that my brain tells me based on the words that I see. And unless the lyrics are very explicit with what they say, everyone has their own different interpretation. This is even more so the case here, because I'm using an auto-translated version of the lyrics from Japanese. Software translation tends to be unimpressive. Alright, here goes. Starting with the title, Tenka-Gouken are the 5 greatest swords under the heaven, or the 5 swords of Japan. From what I gathered from skimming the Wikipedia page, they're just swords. High quality swords, but just swords. Perhaps there's some deep Japanese lore not mentioned in Wikipedia, or I just didn't see it in my skimming, but it seems to me there's not much about these swords other than the title. Therefore, I'm going to assume that the song title refers to a very important fight, because swords are used for slaying, and swords with titles are fancy and imply importance. The picture that I see painted with those first 2 bits is that of a demon within the soul of the speaker of the song. The demon resides within the dark depths of the speaker's soul, and the speaker is chasing them. In a dream signifies to me that this is an internal struggle rather than some fantasy story about a literal demon. The demon is trapped in the door of the soul, meaning it's an inner demon or a mental health issue. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept. It is nestled in the soul of the speaker because it taints their very existence, everything in their life. In the next bit, assuming that cherry blossoms is a proxy for good stuff, this basically explains that the good bits of the speaker's life are being tainted. Life burns out, as the translated text states. Open your door to the soul is challenging the demon to a 1v1, so to speak. Interesting to note is that tonight's battle only the moon knows further enhances the idea that this is an internal struggle, because we fight those battles alone and oftentimes nobody knows about them. I like that fine touch. Next, we get a poetic description of how important and difficult the fight is. The second half describes the speaker's victory, a distant era where the smoke of her inner demon has dissipated after her victory. Gold's moment refers to her mental state and as a result her life swinging back into balance, I think. Broken kaleidoscope, I think, refers to the inability to enjoy things. That being sucked in, plus the crying days being in the past, showcases what victory looks like. The rest of the song reads to me as the speaker of the song, who has already won her battle, guiding other people and helping them do the same. Perhaps she's talking to the people who are listening to the song, as that's generally what I see in this type of messages. They tend to be motivational, uplifting, empowering, that sort of thing. Throw away your soul and carve out your future is a direct call to action, and I think it sounds pretty cool as well. To keep this segment short, the last few bits essentially replay the speaker's battle against her demon, but in this case, she's helping someone else do it. Again, maybe the listener of the song. I quite like the way that they progress the lyrics. They have a story that starts with the speaker's fight, which she then wins, so they don't just repeat the same words after that. They advance the story and instead sing about her helping others now. That's always nice, I love seeing it in song lyrics. I see this sort of message quite a bit in music, which makes sense because to become a musician you need to slay many demons, because life is structured to nudge people away from the arts, not towards them. So you know all artists have faced a great deal of resistance. However, I might also just be inserting that message in all the lyrics that I can fit it in, because I like it. If you interpret the lyrics differently, I would love to hear your version. Now let's talk about the music. The song starts with a bang at a fast pace. They also have some wind instruments, like maybe a flute. It would have probably been cool if they let that instrument play for a few more seconds before they introduce the other instruments, but that's a personal preference. Regardless, they're kicking it off with balls to the wall, all the way up to 11. But just within the intro, they already do some cool stuff. The guitar is going full throttle, but the drums take a few seconds to join in. And when they do come in, they also add what I think is a bell shaker. I'm not sure what that is exactly. And the kick drum also joins in. That way they start super fast with the guitar and the song feels fast and energetic, but they amp that up when the drums join in for real with that shaker thing. So it kind of feels like they start at 11 and then they go up to 12. There is no 12, of course, they're just doing a cool musical thing. Also, the drummer is fiending from the get-go. If there's a petition to put her somewhere in front with the other band members, I'll sign it. Don't waste this woman in the background. Anyway, the intro is an immediate and clear message that this band has got the technical skills. They just lead with it. To lead out of the intro, they let only the guitar play for a bit, so we can better notice the vocals as they come in, and the guitarist can finally move from shredding her hands off to rhythm. Let's hear that first part. Listen for the flute. Or whatever it is. Yeah, drums. And then it comes to real. And there's a thing. This guitar and vocals. The next part is what felt odd to me, and I spent an industrial amount of time replaying the verses to figure out why. The results are inconclusive, but I do have some theories. First, the obvious. They went from shredding to the slower, more melodic vocals for the verses. That's how I would describe it. That in itself would stand out, especially given that the drums picked up from where they left, which is full throttle, at least when it comes to the double pedal. Maybe it just took my brain one verse to adjust to the difference, I'm not sure. But I also think the vocals sing higher notes in the second verse. And maybe the guitar was brought down a little? It might be the guitar feels slower because the vocals went up, or vice versa? I'll play what I think is the first two verses, and you pay attention to the following and tell me if you hear it or I'm just crazy. In verse 1, the guitar pops a bit more. It's very noticeable for me that she plays palm muted and occasionally non-palm muted for a strum, which coincides with some of the syllables, which is actually really nice. And the louder guitar bit near the end of the verse kind of stepped on the vocals, so to speak. In verse 2, the levels between the two seem different. I can't hear the non-palm muted strums so clearly, and the louder bit is neatly tucked underneath the vocals. Also, the drum bit, where they got rid of the shaker for a few seconds to help the vocals pop, was a really cool transition with the vocals holding the notes. Alright, check it out. Verse 1 starts. And on top of it. Verse 2. Okay. And here's the drum transition that I mentioned because I forgot to point it out. Here. It's a bit in the background, but it's really nice. For the next bit, they reintroduced the maybe flute. I'm guessing they did that because they wanted to lower the sounds before the chorus. I think the double pedal stops for that part as well, and they also add the slower, more chill wind instrument to give the impression of the song slowing down. From there, for the transition to the chorus, the vocals start singing higher, and I think I hear the flute going up with them, which strengthens the transition. At the crescendo, the drummer does a few slams, then they cut the instruments and slam them back a second later to join the vocals for the chorus. A well-executed transition there, I liked it. And of course, the chorus itself is loud and fast so it would stand out. The double pedal is back, of course, and they also added some other weird instrument that I can't quite place. The vocalist really stands out to me in the chorus. I could already tell that I like her voice, although I couldn't tell you why. Now after the chorus, I still like her voice and I still can't tell you why. Also, that echo that they did around the middle of the chorus was superb. Especially with the drum fill while they were highlighting the echo. What a great moment. And then the vocalist comes back and sings the same notes, another pause, and then she winds down to relieve the tension. Then the solo starts. Let's hear it up to that point, so you can see what I'm talking about. Starting with the bit with the flute that goes up, and then we go into the chorus. Right? And the kick pedal's not here, so it feels calmer. goes up. I don't know what that instrument is. Getting ready? Oh. Again. And then it goes down. Man, that is so good. I like it a lot. The solo is reminiscent of the intro in that they're flexing. It's in two parts, and I really like the transition from the first to the second with the drums. And then after that, in the second, the rhythm guitar pops more, while the lead guitar is just machine gunning notes. Seriously, the guitarist has fingers made out of steel. And for that part, the drummer also goes ballistic. And even after that, when they wind down, the guitar is still going. She finally gets some rest when the vocals come in for the next verse. Although, since she's the only guitar, she'll be playing the rhythm after that. I would love to see a live recording of that part of the song specifically. I want to see what that looks like. Alright, here comes the solo. It starts. That's obviously a track with the second guitar. Second part coming in. Listen to the rhythm. So cool. This is transition. I think this is a transition to the verse. She keeps going. Now that was quite something. Also, I really wish that I had something to say about the bass, but my untrained ears can't really pick it up or just tell it apart from the other sounds. While it could be that the bass is simply supporting the song without popping out anywhere, I'll just assume I'm failing to pick it up. You guys can point out the cool bass moments for me to check out and appreciate if you feel so inclined. The rest of the song isn't too different from everything I just talked about, aside from the second chorus starting differently. Since I already went over the lyrics, I'll just explain it like this. In the first chorus, they went straight in because it was the battle of the speaker with her demon. The second one is more mellow because the speaker is offering moral support to someone else who's fighting their demon. They also added some other weird instrument I can't place. Sounds like a drum with a chime or something like that. Then it amps up to the normal chorus level, presumably for the other person's battle with their demon. And of course, they finished with some other string instrument that's not shown on screen. I'm not sure if that's an acoustic guitar or some traditional Japanese string instrument or something else. Not sure, but it does give off a nice sense of finish to the song. Plus the shot of, I think it's the vocalist, sheathing her katana. Good ending. Let's hear it from the chorus to the end. We're all transitioning the chorus now. Did it that before. That bit is really nice. She also unsheathed the katana when the battle started. It's really nice. Final impressions? I quite like the song. The mesh of the vocals with the technical fast-paced playing of the instruments is interesting, at least in this song. I'm curious to see if I'll have similar feelings from their other songs, especially given that the vocalist's range seems impressive. So I suspect in a different musical composition, the mix between the voice and the instruments might seem quite different to what it is in this song. If you have any recommendations, the comment section is right there. I'll go do other stuff now. Yo, take care.